Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Journey to National Master. And in this episode, I'll be covering round 2 of Campeonato Nacional de Honra. It was a national closed tournament, and I'm gonna put on the screen if you want to skip um, immediately to the game. I'll put some time there, over there. But yeah, if you want to hear the story time, let's go into it. So this was round 2. I got paired up against the lowest rated player in the tournament, and yeah, I was very confident, honestly. Like the last round, the first round of the tournament, I won a very nice game with the black pieces, and here with the white pieces playing an 1100. And I also found his chess.com account, so I was like, I had a game plan, I was feeling good. And the game was around a little bit. It was like 12, not 12, it was like at 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m., something like that. So early afternoon. And I just went to grab something to eat, to have lunch before the game. I went quite at a decent time, like 1 hour and a half before the game or something like that. And the tournament was actually in Aveiro, which is a city that I spent a lot of time in because I studied a lot of years there for university. So, I think I know my way around stuff, the places. And okay, I just finished my lunch. I had like, it was like something like uh 40 minutes to the game. So I was like, okay, let me chill. I decided to start walking towards the university where the game was gonna be yelled at. And I walk, and all of a sudden, 20 minutes pass, and I get to a place where there's like construction, and I can't go through to the university because of all the construction. I just can't uh just go. So I start panicking because I'm like, I have to go all the way back from where I came, and then go from another um trajectory, another way to the university. And like, I was just calculating in my end, oh my god, I'm gonna like spend at least an hour to get there, so I'm gonna be late for the game. Am I gonna lose the game on time? What is going to happen? Because in some tournaments, if you arrive like past like 15 minutes or something like that, you get disqualified. So I was like, oh my god, I can't, no way I'm gonna lose because I don't show up on time. And it was super hot outside. It was like super sunny, super hot. I had like two shirts on, I don't know why, and a jacket. Dude, I just grabbed the jacket. I had my backpack, bro. I just started sprinting, just like a madman, sprinting. And bro, it was so painful because like, just I just wasn't prepared to go sprint like that, especially because like, I had stuff to carry on. I had a lot of baggy clothes, like trousers. Like, it wasn't good at all, and I was like just looking at my phone, looking at the time, trying to sprint. And bro, like, I arrive at the game like 10 minutes late to the starting time, and I'm like sweating. I'm super red. Like, I just storm through the entrance, and everyone is already playing their game, and like everyone just looks at me because I'm like I'm just like, bro, I'm just super exhausted from all the sprinting. I'm just sweating. I'm just like super red. I'm like panicking. I'm like hyperventilating. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe, I hope I'm not disqualified. I look at my table, bro, the guy wasn't there. Pedro Souza, my opponent, didn't arrive yet, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I did all of this and my opponent is not even there. Then I just sit down, I write my name on the score sheet, blah blah blah, and I make my move. I make the move c4. And I actually, like, the clocks only started counting like 2 minutes before I actually arrived, even though I was 10 minutes late. So I actually had pretty much all the time on the clock. And bro, time passes by and my opponent doesn't show up. Like, my opponent is just, his time just keeps running, and finally, after like 15 minutes, bro, he arrives super nonchalantly, just walking slowly, super like chill. He's not even stressed, not nervous. It's just okay, just sits down, right, and does his move e5, and I'm like, bro, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe I just went through all of this, and my opponent doesn't even care about arriving late, 15 minutes late. Like, bro, I'm gonna show some pictures over. I always get this wrong. Over there, I'm gonna show you some pictures of how I was, bro. The photographer did me so bad. He did me so dirty, the photographer of the tournament, because bro, he just was taking photos of me like in complete panic, and I was like looking like this. I think I was literally like this. You'll see in the photo, and I was super red, bro. I just didn't want to play the game. But I was like, okay. I mean, we're finally here. Just try to focus, try to concentrate. Cause damn, what a start of the game and story for this game. Okay, enough of that. It's already been 6 minutes. I've been yapping. Let's get into the game. So that was the context of the game. Okay. So c4, e5, I go g3. You know, I was trying to kind of play the same thing I played in the last tournament, and when I played this English variation, I got a draw against a women's international master, 2250 Polish player. So I was like, okay, if I get a draw against like a 2250 master player, I'm probably gonna do all right against an 1100, so I shouldn't really be worried about that, even though I don't know much theory in this line. Okay, my opponent goes knight f6, I go bishop g2, he goes c6, and here I play knight f3, just targeting this pawn. He plays d6, I play castles, he plays bishop e7, knight c3, so far just developing moves. I spent some time on knight c3 because I was just trying to understand the position, but I feel like knight c3 makes sense. It not only develops a minor piece, but it also stops if it doesn't stop e4, but it kind of does stop e4, because if my opponent goes e4, I go knight g5, and he can't really defend this pawn too well, So okay, knight c3, natural, good move. My opponent castles here, and after a while I play queen c2, which definitely stops now e4. Also stops bishop f5, which is nice. My opponent goes knight bd7, and here I decide to strike in the center with d4, which is the best move. Takes, I take back with the knight, and here he plays rook e8. And honestly, the computer already says that I'm close to winning here. I mean, saying that I'm close to winning is, I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, but I'm clearly much better because I have so much space. My pieces are looking way better than his. It's a bit cramped, this bishop is looking super bad, but okay, I was feeling good, I was feeling confident. I had a lot of time advantage on the clock, as you might understand, because of all that happened before the game. So yeah, after rook e8, I play b3, which is a very logical move, trying to develop this bishop either to b2 or a3. My opponent goes queen c7, which makes sense to develop the queen. I play bishop e2, knight e5, which I didn't really understand. I played h3, which maybe it wasn't necessary. The computer says that e4 is a very good move, and my idea was to play h3 just to stop any knight g4s. I think it's a good move. Bishop d7 by my opponent. I play rook ac1, which I don't think it was necessary. Again, I should play e4 or f4. I should start actually putting pressure in the center, but okay, rook ac1, developing another piece, can't be that bad. My opponent goes rook ad8, he's also developing his pieces. I go e4 finally. My opponent goes h5, and here I think this was the move that changed the whole game, actually, h5. And this might sound like a bit too much, like really, this h5 move changed everything. I have to tell you guys that before h5 I thought that I was in complete cruise control, and I am. I thought that I was just gonna easily crush my opponent because I was just gonna start pushing the pawn, doing a pawn storm on the king side. His pieces are so cramped, and yeah, with this bishop looking here, the knight maybe jumping to f5, and yeah, this rook behind this f pawn, I thought that I was close to winning and getting a really convincing win. But after h5, all of a sudden I got worried, because I was like, really, h5, that's such an aggressive move by my opponent. And I started thinking, like, what is his idea with h5? I was really trying to understand h5. I really respected the h5 move. I completely took me off guard, and yeah, I was just trying to understand, what does my opponent want with h5? Like, does he want to just create loot for the king? Does he want to play h4 and create some dark square weaknesses around my king, something like h4 g4, and yeah, I just couldn't figure it out. Of course, the first instinct is just to play f4, but for some reason, after knight g6, I thought that I could be in trouble. After something like h4, and I have to play g4, and then this pawn becomes weak. After something like d5, this pawn would be hanging, stuff like that. I started seeing a lot of ghosts. I started calculating a bunch of lines that didn't really make much sense, and I just, after a long time thinking, I decided to play queen e2, which I don't really understand queen e2. I guess I just wanted to transfer the queen to the king side, but queen e2 doesn't do much at all, actually. It's a very nothing move, I would say. So yeah, I played queen e2, really not understanding what I should do. My opponent plays queen c8, which, okay, it's very obvious that he wants to just take the pawn, so I defend the pawn with king h2, and now my opponent goes knight g6. Actually, h4 would be a fantastic move for him, which he didn't find here. It's very uncomfortable for me. For example, something like g4, the computer says d5, and yeah, it's super complex, actually, what's happening, because like this diagonal is so weak. A bishop coming to d6, this potential discovered attack with the knight also, like, oof, this is super complicated. But yeah, my opponent didn't find h4. He played knight g6, which is passive and gives me an opportunity to take over the game again with f4. Here would be very, very good for me, but again, I didn't play f4. I played h4, which is a horrible move. It's actually incredibly bad. This is like super, super bad. But yeah, I just was afraid that if I played f4, that it would play h4. And after g4, I just didn't like the fact that I had all these dark square weaknesses here around my king. But it's not really easy for him to exploit it, because he can't play knight h5. And if he tries something like queen c7 here to try to attack this f4 pawn, I can always just play queen d2, protect this pawn, and I'm threatening a whole lot of things. I can move my king and then play f5, g5, and yeah, it's also transfer my knight, probably something like knight d1, knight e3, transfer into the game. But yeah, it's a very interesting position, but I just couldn't figure it out. Like, I just was afraid of this h4 move, so because of that I played h4 myself. But this is of course bad, because it creates this huge gaping hole here on a g4 that he can use for his pieces, and all of a sudden, like, I really am not putting any pressure, because I just missed the opportunity to play f4. Yeah, I just completely panicked and I just couldn't figure out the position. So after h4, my opponent plays knight e5. I play knight d1, which I should have done before playing h4. Just try to reroute this knight to a better square, Here my opponent plays knight g4 check, I go king g1, and yeah, I mean, it's just now all of a sudden he has really good pieces here on good squares, because I just created this fantastic outpost on g4. So very, very bad play. Very, very big misplay by my part here. He played 95 back, which was kind of weird. I didn't really understand. Maybe he wanted a draw after king h2, knight g4 check. Of course I didn't want to draw, I still wanted to win this. So I just played knight f3, which is another horrible move. Yeah, I just, ever since I did the first bad move, I just kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. I mean, knight f3 is just horrible because of bishop g4, and I just pinned myself, honestly. I just pinned myself, and yeah, I had to play knight e3 first. If I play knight e3 first, then I can play knight f3, and there's no longer bishop g4 because this knight here is protecting here. Also, knight e3 would be really good because I can jump to f5 with my knight. And yeah, this would still be a very complex position, but yeah, knight e3 was the move. I mean, there was a reason I played knight d1 to play knight e3. So like, why do I play knight f3 first? Like, the order of moves is super bad. Now the problem is that here, if I play knight e3 now, I just drop this pawn, and this is not good, you know. On the other line, if I play knight e3, it doesn't have bishop g4 because I just take the bishop. I can just take the bishop, or I can even just move the queen here, and the pawn is protected, and you know, everything is good. But yeah, I was playing horribly, man. I was really shook, man. That h5 move just really shook me. Man, props to my opponent. Like, that h5 move just completely completely screwed me up, dude. I just wasn't expecting him to fight back. I thought that he was just gonna get passive and lose. Like, I really didn't think that an 1100 would have the balls to play like he did, honestly. I don't know, like, yeah. I took the knight here on e5, which, again, it's a bad move. This is my good bishop, and I just traded for this knight. Super bad, because now I just open his rook. I mean, and I give him this square on d4. This is like, oh my god, this is one of the worst games I've played in a long while. Like, every move I make is a big mistake, and all of a sudden I went from being winning with a big advantage to just like being much worse and close to losing. I mean, just bad move after bad move after bad move. It's crazy. I should play just queen e3 here, attack this pawn. Maybe he plays like a6 and I have like knight g5, and all of a sudden I'm back. Or if he plays b6, the same thing. I can just play knight g5, get out of the pin, and I'm doing fine. But no, I just make another bad move. This bishop e5 is really just a blunder. I'm just throwing the game, honestly. Just simple. These moves make no sense. Just help my opponent, honestly. So yeah, after this, I play queen e3 now, which now, like, it's the completely, like, oh my god, it's just this game is so hard for me to cover because I played so bad. Like, this order of moves, these moves make no sense. Also, I have to be I also have to say that I had a big time advantage because I was blitzing out the moves. I wasn't blitzing out because I thought that you know, I was playing good moves and I was just gonna win. I was blitzing out the moves because my opponent was taking a long time to play. He was really low on time already, and I was just trying to put pressure on him with the clock because I was panicking in the position. I really didn't know what was going on, and yeah, I just wanted to flag him or something like that, or make him like super nervous because of the time pressure, and then he blunders something or something like that. But yeah, here I'm completely losing. Bishop b4 is a nice move. I play knight c3. Bishop takes on f3 by him. I take back with the bishop, and here he plays rook d4. So very well played by my opponent. He took the defender of the d4 square off, and yeah, he then plays this fantastic move rook d4, putting pressure on the e4 pawn and also just planning to double on the d file. So yeah, my opponent is completely dominating me, but the problem is that he has like 3 minutes on the clock, or like maybe 4 or 5 minutes on the clock, and I have like 29 minutes on the clock, so big time advantage. But yeah, here I play knight b1. Sad move. My opponent plays rook d8. I try to challenge with rook d1, and here my opponent plays bishop c5. I bring the queen back to e2, and this apparently allows a winning combination. I didn't see it in the game, of course. My opponent also didn't see it. It was not easy at all to spot this combination, in my opinion, and much less with like 2 minutes on the clock for him. But yeah, pause the video, guys, if you want to find the winning combination for black. 85% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you enjoyed the videos, I would highly appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. Let's get back into the video. Okay, so if you found the combination, please write it in the comment section down below. I will be very impressed. But for those guys that just want to see what the variation is, it's actually just, it's not rook d2. It's actually just rook takes on d1 check, rook takes back on d1, rook takes on d1 check, queen takes on d1 check, and now queen h3. And I'm lost. I'm completely lost. And yeah, it's just fantastic. And you might say, like, why are you lost? Like, what? Just play bishop g2, right? Queen takes on g3. Incredible, because of this spin right here. I can take back the queen, and now I'm lost. Let's say queen f3 here. Just queen takes on h4. Is up 2 pawns. Knight g4 is coming. Look at this knight. Look at this monstrous bishop. Yeah, I'm just completely lost. Also, if I play queen f1 to try to trade queens, it's the same thing. Just queen takes on g3 check. I can take the queen because of this spin. After queen g2, we transpose into the variation with queen takes on h4. So yeah, my opponent missed this fantastic idea, but it was very hard to spot this, honestly. So yeah, I don't blame him. I wouldn't spot this at all, I think, even with 20 minutes, 30 minutes on the clock. Maybe, like, if you told me during the game that you had something that wins the game, I would probably spot it, but without someone telling you that, it's hard to even look at that. But okay, very nice. My opponent just played g6, which, you know, is not winning. I trade rooks, and I play knight d2 here. My opponent plays queen d8 with a lot of pressure on my knight here. I play knight f1. I'm just really trying to hold on and to just defend with all my energy. My opponent had like 50 seconds on the clock. I had like 8 minutes on the clock still, so I had a big time advantage. But of course, I'm completely losing. But it's still not easy to just win the game on the spot for him. He plays bishop a3, which is very annoying, attacking my rook. My rook doesn't really have good squares, but I play rook c2 here, and my opponent goes bishop b4. So I go back to c1 with the rook. He goes bishop a3, and I'm like, does he want a draw? Oh my god. I was so happy. I was like, okay, don't make any faces, just repeat the position, bro. I played rook c2, and he offered me a draw, and I was like, bro, I immediately took the draw, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh, I can't believe I actually saved this game. But yeah, I mean, we ended up drawing. Yeah, I deserved to lose this game. I played so bad. He played really well. It was unfortunate that he couldn't just he had very little time on the clock. He should have not arrived late. Maybe he would have won because he would have more time, but it is what it is. But yeah, we move to a score of 1.5 of 2 games. So, you know, I'm not in first place, but I'm very close to the leader of the tournament. And yeah, it was a bad game, but fortunately, I was still able to get half a point, and we move on to the next round. I hope you guys enjoyed this long video, and I'll see you guys for round 3 next week. Bye bye.